Ever woken up feeling like a deflated balloon, staring at your to-do list with a sense of dread? You know what you should do, but the motivation just isn't there. It's a universal struggle, that feeling of wanting to achieve something great, but being utterly paralyzed by a lack of drive. What if I told you that motivation isn't some mystical force you either have or don't? What if it's a skill you can cultivate, a muscle you can train, even when every fiber of your being screams for a nap? This isn't about endless hype or toxic positivity. It's about understanding the hidden mechanics of your brain and learning to force it into action, even on your laziest days. We're going to dive deep into practical, science-backed strategies that will transform your relationship with motivation, turning you into a productivity powerhouse, not because you always feel like it, but because you know how to make it happen. The traditional view of motivation is often flawed. We tend to think of it as a prerequisite. I need to feel motivated to do something. This creates a dangerous dependency. If your ability to act is solely tied to your emotional state, you're in for a wild, inconsistent ride. Our emotions are fickle. They fluctuate based on sleep, diet, stress, and a million other external factors. Relying on motivation is like trying to build a skyscraper on quicksand. It's unstable, unreliable, and ultimately unsustainable. This is why so many New Year's resolutions failed by February. The initial burst of motivation fades, and without a deeper system, we revert to old habits. The true secret lies in shifting from being motivation-dependent to motivation-enhanced. Being motivation-enhanced means you can be motivated, and you appreciate it when it shows up, but you don't need it to get things done. You build systems and habits that propel you forward regardless of how you feel. This is the bedrock of consistent progress and true achievement. So, how do we achieve this state of motivation enhancement? It starts with understanding a core psychological principle, the relationship between thoughts, feelings, and actions. Most people believe that feelings lead to thoughts, which then lead to actions. For example, I feel lazy, therefore I think I can't work, therefore I don't work. But this is a trap. The reality is the relationship is bidirectional. Your actions can profoundly influence your thoughts and feelings. This is where the magic happens. We can hack this loop. The first step in this process is what I call the tiny action trigger. When you're feeling unmotivated, the thought of tackling a big task feels insurmountable. Your brain throws up resistance. The key is to bypass this resistance by focusing on an action so ridiculously small, it feels impossible to say no to. If you need to write a report, don't tell yourself, I need to write this report. Tell yourself, I will open the document. If you need to go for a run, don't say I need to run 5 miles. Say I will put on my running shoes. The goal here isn't to complete the task. It's to initiate momentum. About creating the smallest possible entry point into the activity. Once you take that tiny action, something fascinating happens. Your brain, observing your action, starts to adjust its internal narrative. Hey, I just opened the document. Maybe I'm not so lazy after all. This subtle shift in thought can then generate a tiny spark of motivation, just enough to take the next tiny action. This leads us to the second strategy, the 2-minute rule and beyond. Once you've taken that tiny action, commit to doing the task for just 2 minutes. That's it. 2 minutes. If you still feel unmotivated after 2 minutes, you have full permission to stop. The brilliance of this rule, popularized by productivity expert James Clear, is that almost no task is so daunting that you can't start it for 2 minutes. And more often than not, once you've started, once you've overcome that initial inertia, you'll find yourself continuing for much longer. The 2-minute rule isn't about tricking yourself. It's about leveraging the power of momentum. Once an object is in motion, it tends to stay in motion. Your brain is no different. The third strategy is externalizing the decision. Decision-making itself consumes mental energy. The more choices you have to make, the more fatigued your brain becomes. This is why willpower can feel depleted by the end of the day. To combat this, externalize as many decisions as possible. This means setting up your environment and your routine so that the desired action is the default, not a choice you have to make in the moment. For example, if you want to exercise in the morning, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to eat healthier, pre-chop up your vegetables and prepare healthy snacks. The less friction there is between intention and action, the less motivation you need. This also ties into the concept of environment design. Your environment is a powerful determinant of your behavior. If your workspace is cluttered and full of distractions, your brain will naturally gravitate towards those distractions. If your environment is optimized for focus and productivity, your brain will find it easier to engage in the desired tasks. Remove temptations, create visual cues for desired behaviors, and make your productive space inviting. The fourth strategy is the power of pre-commitment. This involves making a decision in advance that removes the need for willpower in the moment. This could be telling a friend your goal, scheduling a workout with an accountability partner, or even publicly declaring your intentions. When you pre-commit, you create a social or personal consequence for not following through, which can be a powerful motivator when your internal drive is low. It's about leveraging external pressure to support your internal goals. Strategy is gamification and reward hacking. Your brain loves rewards. It's wired for dopamine. You can use this to your advantage by gamifying your tasks and creating small, immediate rewards for completing even tiny steps. Did you finish that 2-minute burst of work? Reward yourself with a short break, a favorite song, or a small healthy treat. The key is for the reward to be immediate and directly tied to the action, reinforcing the positive behavior. This isn't about bribing yourself. It's about training your brain to associate effort with pleasure, making the process more enjoyable and sustainable. Finally, understand the concept of energy management, not time management. We often focus on managing our time, but our energy levels are just as, if not more, important. Pay attention to your personal energy cycles. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Schedule your most demanding tasks during your peak energy hours. When your energy is naturally high, you require less motivation to get started. Also, prioritize activities that replenish your energy, such as quality sleep, nutritious food, and genuine breaks. Burnout is the ultimate motivation killer. By proactively managing your energy, you create a sustainable foundation for consistent action. This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about gaining freedom. Freedom from the whims of your fluctuating emotions. Freedom to pursue your goals even when you don't feel like it. It's about building a resilient, action-oriented mindset that serves you rather than being a slave to fleeting feelings. The journey to consistent motivation is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires patience, self-awareness, and consistent application of these strategies. But with each tiny action, each 2-minute push, each decision you externalize, you are rewiring your brain, building new neural pathways, and strengthening your capacity for sustained effort. You are literally training your brain to be motivated. So, the next time you feel that familiar pull of procrastination, remember, you don't need to wait for motivation to strike. You have the tools to create it. You can force your brain to be motivated not through brute force, but through intelligent design. Start small, build momentum, and watch as your ability to get things done transforms. If you found this blueprint for motivation helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more insights into unlocking your full potential. Thanks for watching,